So there will be a revolution in this century. Enter me! Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Aaliyah, and for today's video I had something else in mind. I actually was working on a video about the current housing crisis, but until I can find a way for the copyright gods to like me, we're gonna be doing this video today instead. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a personal analysis on Hamilton. So Hamilton is basically like a historical fan fiction about Alexander Hamilton and the creation of the United States, pretty much. So for today's video, we're not going to be talking about the whole musical. We're just going to be talking about one of the songs from the musical called My Shot. My favorite characters from Hamilton were obviously Hamilton, Jefferson, Washington, and Burr. All of these characters had songs that really show their true strength throughout the whole musical. Songs like What Did I Miss, One Last Time, Room Where It Happened. I physically cannot skip it if I'm like driving and I hear it randomly. I cannot skip it. When those songs come on, I'm basically in the room where it happened. Like, I am the pen Lin-Manuel Miranda was writing with to create these masterpieces. Hamilton's character was someone that I felt very connected to. Despite me not being a serial cheater who can't say no, there's something charming about the men talking about their passions and visions of the future. So let's get right into the music. I'm not going through the whole song, I'm just going through some of the lines that really connected with me the most. So we're starting off with this line here. Every burden, every disadvantage, I have learned to manage. I don't have a gun to brandish. I walk these streets famished. The plan is to fan this spark into a flame, but damn, it's getting dark, so let me spell out my name. The whole song was pretty much put me in, coach. And despite all the odds and tribulations that Alexander faced, he still truly believed in himself and he knew his potential, and he didn't let anyone stop him. He was so confident about this. He was like, let me put my name on it and let me make sure you spell it correctly. Meanwhile, Britain keeps shitting on us endlessly. Essentially, they tax us relentlessly. Then King George turned around and runs a spending spree. He ain't never gonna set his descendants free, so there'll be a revolution in this century. Enter me, he says in parentheses. Don't be shocked when your history books mention me. I will lay down my life if it sets us free. Eventually, you'll see my ascendancy. The first time I heard this musical was like my final years in high school, where it really felt like it was me versus the world. Like, after I graduate, I'm going to college and life, you know? And I listened to this song today with similar feelings, you know, in the midst of all this chaos. But every time I'm feeling down or the moments when I feel low, I just have conversations with my brother and my friends, and I see the passion, I see our visions, and there's just no way this is all for nothing, you know? We see what's going on with the world. Everything is pretty expensive, and every day forward seems like 10 steps back. So there will be a revolution in this century. Enter me! The world around us is suppressing us in every way they can imagine now. And it's all calculated. They're doing this for a reason. People are easier to control when they are in fear. So in the face of everything, we really have to think smarter and harder, and eventually you'll see our ascendancy. But we'll never be truly free until those in bondage have the same rights as you and me. This sentence stands correct every way you can look at it. The liberation of Black people is the liberation of all. Hello, Max. Welcome to the party. I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. When's it gonna get me? In my sleep, 7 feet ahead of me. If I see it coming, do I run or do I let it be? Is it like a beat without a melody? See, I never thought I lived past 20. Where I come from, some get half as many. If I'm being totally honest, death, the whole concept, it scares me. I heard someone say the only thing guaranteed in life is death and taxes. And I guess that was so true they even made a game about it. See, I never thought I lived past 20. There was a time in my life where this statement was true. But I stand before you today, a proud, sturdy 21, and honestly, I'm so proud of myself. The dark memories are still very vivid in my mind, but that person just feels so distant from who I am today. I guess that's growth. Where I come from, some get half as much. See, when I was growing up, like many other Black children, there's a few deaths that kind of shook you. One of them being Emmett Till. Emmett Till was just a child who was attacked by a group of white men because some white lady accused him of whistling at her. I actually found out recently that he was taught to whistle to kind of like hide his nervousness. So to even imagine, he was just nervous, and that's what happens. It's sick. Another death that took a toll on me was Trayvon Martin. Do you know what it felt like to be a black child and seeing that anyone could just take you out like that? Like, I'm in high school and this kid could have been my classmate, could have been my brother. Do you know how it feels to be a black child? To see that there was people praising that man. The anger it felt to know as a black child. Someone bought this gun for $250,000. And this is supposed to be in the world where Obama was president, so that means racism is over. Meanwhile, and if we win our independence, is that a guarantee of freedom for our descendants? And with the blood we shed begin an endless cycle of vengeance and death with no defendants. I know the action in the streets is exciting, but Jesus, between all the bleeding and fighting, I've been reading and writing. We need to handle our financial situation. Are we a nation of states? What's the state of our nation? It's no secret that slavery ended, but for some reason, we're still having the same discussions and conversations about our rights and our humanities that our grandparents were having, where there were separate water fountains and shit. I feel like the only way we can break out of this is to look in ourselves and in our community and find all these ties and brokenness that they placed on us. Once we start healing, we win. That is the guarantee of freedom for our descendants. I know the action in the street is exciting, but Jesus, between all the bleeding and fighting, I've been reading and writing. Send this to anyone that needs to hear it. Movements do not grow overnight. There are actual stakes at hand with true movement. It's not a chance to relive GTA in real life or to get a cute photo to put on your feed. When the protests were happening in 2020, there were too many opportunists that just saw this as a chance to take advantage of what started off as a positive movement. Black Lives Matter. Not that they matter more, but they matter too. Every industry, it somehow finds a way to turn against black people. And every ethnicity and race, there's slurs used for specifically black people. And now here we are in a world where the government's trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. And now it's our time to shine. We're not the Avengers. There's too many problems in our own community that we need to focus on. Not that it's not going to affect us. Even the woman who created Planned Parenthood had an underlying not-so-secret motive to eradicate the black race. So right now we're closed shop. So before you even start demanding assistance from black people, ask yourself, does Flint have clean water? Are we actively discussing and dismantling the school-to-prison pipeline? No? There's your answer. And we end with this. I'm past patiently waiting. I'm passionately smashing every expectation, every action to act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time, I'm thinking past tomorrow. Can we throw some snaps in the chat for Mr. Lin-Manuel Miranda? I'm past patiently waiting. Man, honestly, I feel kind of crazy having the same conversations with people about all the problems we're having in the world, finding the root of all these problems, and years later, still talking about the same thing. It's very disheartening. And years later, here we are having the same conversations with the same problems, and it's even worse now. Every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time, I'm thinking past tomorrow. To anyone who is hearing this message and it sticks to you, our biggest weapon is ourselves. All we can really do is keep creating, keep talking, keep sharing. Because they don't want us to do this. So post your stories, post your art, post your ideas, make conversations with people, talk about anything other than this day-to-day complacency that they have us stuck into. Let's not talk about the weather. Let's talk about building a better future for everyone around us. Once you start sharing, you realize that you're not as lonely as you thought you were. live intentionally. It's one of the things I started doing that changed my life totally. Wake up every day with a purpose. It doesn't have to be the biggest purpose. You don't have to be the president, even though I'm pretty sure any of us could be doing a better job right now. But if you wake up and you want to be an artist, draw every day. Do something that contributes towards your bigger picture. It's like pieces of a puzzle. It may start off small and discombobulated as first, but as you take steps towards being more productive to you and yourself and holding yourself accountable, and not even in a discouraging way, every day is a new opportunity to make mistakes and to grow. So that is the end of my shot. I actually wanted to do a longer version of this video where I talked about other musicals that I enjoy, because I am a musical nerd, if you didn't know. Some of the musicals that I wanted to talk about was The Falsettos, Dear Evan Hansen. It's not a musical, but it definitely has music. Rocket Man, one of my favorite movies ever. So if you're interested in musicals, or you're interested in another personal analyzation of a musical, hit me up. I'm your girl. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell button if you want to see more of my face. And I'll see you guys here next time. Bye!